Good evening. Earlier this week in this series of school safety stories, we told you how there are discrepancies in crime statistics school districts are reporting by law to the state. Now, we reported that some districts report them very accurately, others, in the words of a state educator, slipshoddy about it. But wouldn't you believe, in all of our research, we also found something potentially very disturbing to parents, that bullying numbers just aren't being added up. We've been tracking the bullying problem for years here at Newschannel 3. We've heard the horrible stories from the youngest in our community.
I didn't want to go to school because I knew that there was no escaping her.
No escaping her, she said, referring to being bullied, mean tweets and texts. That's the kind of thing lawmakers hope they never hear again when they passed an anti-bullying measure in 2011, hoping school leaders would put the issue on the top of their agenda. But the I-Team started dissecting the law recently and consequently made a surprising discovery that in 2013, there will be no comprehensive bullying data available to the State Department of Education.
That's no longer required, so we are no longer allowed to collect that data from districts, so we had to pull it out of the data set.
So you have a problem with that?
It would be nice to have bullying data, especially since we just had the state legislature pass the bullying policy requirement. It'd be nice to be able to see whether that did anything.
We found the new anti-bullying law mandates lots of education and policies to school districts to try to help kids, but there's no data reporting, no accountability. There's a legal reason why the data isn't required by law, by the way. The collection of it could be considered an unfunded mandate, and state law and several court decisions prevent unfunded mandates to schools. You know, I think a lot of people would look at that and say that's just government getting in the way of government.
Probably unconsciously, too. I mean, I don't think it's a deliberate thing on anybody's part. I think it's an oversight. They just didn't know the details.
Add in the fact that federal grant funds ran out last year. Data reporting to the federal government for bullying was tied to that money, and now state leaders are telling us there's no official data at all to see if the problem may subside over the years.
If we're not measuring data on how effective that law is in combating the problem of bullying, we're never going to know if we need to put more teeth in it or if it's doing the job it was intended to do.
We found in our research it appears some school districts do collect bullying data and report it to the state. But as you can see here, it's optional. There were an awful lot of zeros and blank boxes on this spreadsheet, schools deciding not to report it.
Yes, I would imagine parents out there, I'm a mom of 2 kids, I want to know, what's going on in the schools.
So more than a year after the sweeping anti-bullying law went into place, lawmakers are telling us tonight in 2013, short of a new legislative fix, they really don't have a clue whether the law is working or not.
I haven't heard from any of my school districts that it's being ineffective, but I haven't heard yet that this is the magic answer. I think the bottom line is it starts in our homes where we teach our kids right from wrong.
And some local lawmakers voted against the new bullying law because they suspected it wouldn't address the real problems, and defining bullying in data would be difficult, they thought. Tomorrow on Newschannel 3, you might be surprised at the process school security guards go through to get their jobs. At 11, we'll tell you why one local security director says change has to come for new standards. David Bailey, Newschannel 3 IT. Good evening. You might automatically assume, as we did, that there are training standards for the people who are protecting our children at school. We found that's not the case, and lawmakers, after our investigation, are now looking to fix what they see as a problem. This was Lakeview Middle School, 2010. We watched some hardcore training by law enforcement officers how to respond to a potential emergency in the school, perhaps a gunman on campus.
Ready? Yep. Move.
This indeed was just training, but what's really interesting here, if you look a little closer, school security guards, the ones who are right on the front lines of any major school emergency, weren't pictured. And as we look deeper at the issue, believe it or not, there are no minimum training standards for people hired in as guards.
We do it for teachers. We do it for paraprofessionals. We even train food service workers and custodians. If we are training these individuals to do their jobs correctly, why not train the individuals who are working with one of our most precious assets, and that's young people.
Earlier this week, the I-Team looked at concerns school districts aren't reporting crime numbers accurately, a surprising lack of accounting. We also found the state's no longer collecting, of all things, bullying statistics. And now we focused on training standards, of course, for security guards. As the discussion continues about safety, many of the experts tell us these issues we've uncovered, investigated, and now addressed are some of the simple fixes that can be done to help our children. David Bailey, News Channel 3 IT. Call it a fight, call it an assault, some might call it a crime. Well, we can tell you the Kalamazoo Public School District didn't call it anything at all, at least when it comes to reporting incidents as required by law to the State Center for Educational Performance and Information, that's called CEPI. The video of this fight was uploaded to YouTube in March 2010. It happened at Loy Norrix High School, where KPS has a police officer actually inside the building. Documents we obtained through the Freedom of Information Act show that school resource officer is a very busy person. At Norrix alone, we surveyed 240 school days. Documents show there were 308 total calls for police service. Of those calls, 41 were for simple things, rescues or welfare checks, but 14 of them were for some kind of sex assault, 56 for assault and battery cases or fights, 66 for larcenies or thefts. That's in one high school in just more than a school year? Loy Norrix was only a small part of our investigation, though. We obtained police dispatch logs for most of the other schools in KPS, along with schools in Battle Creek, Grand Rapids, and Allegan. If school district leaders decide to call the police for help on an incident, then they must report that particular incident to the state by law. Now, after pouring through all of this data for many months, we found some anomalies that we simply could not understand. Specifically, in the Kalamazoo Public School District, pay attention to the left side of the screen here for a second. These are the numbers of cases the I-Team found in police logs for the last school year for the entire school district, all potential felony crimes. Now to the right side of the screen, this is what we found in state records was reported by the district last year to CEPI or to the state. 0 assault and battery cases, 0 criminal sexual conduct cases, 0 robberies, 23 larcenies? A fix many would agree is one of the simplest and easiest things we can do to get it right for the sake of our children.
Each incident report tells a story. Tells the story of a young person that may be struggling, tells the story of a young person who may have made a mistake, and it gives us as the adults an opportunity to help them model better behavior.